Well, we've released version 10 of gCADPlus and we've made quite a lot of changes. We hope you like them. The important thing is we've not changed the interface. We've just improved some of the tools that you'll find in gCADPlus. Let's have a look at a number of these. If you use a leader, and here's an example of a leader, and you have a block of text, you can now hit the enter key at any point and create a new line in that text. Instead of having single line text in here, we now have multi-line text. What that does is provide us with a block of text in which the spacing is not ideal. So version 10 now features, let's pick that leader, we can now change the line space factor. Let's try 0.7, and can you see that, let me unselect all, that the line spacing can be made to look just nice. You could bring it in closer if you want. That has advantages. For example, if we go to layout, you might be able to see here I've put some images of species used in this design across the bottom, and you can see here that that piece of text, now we could even move it up if we wanted a little more space for the grouping of SaveAs which are going to be used across the front there. We could even come back into the model, pick this piece of text and just move it up a little like so, and then unselect all, go back into the layout. Now we've got a little more room, so we could come over here and do that to bring the image of the SaveAs a little larger. Don't forget you have a tool, these are all separate image files that have been dropped into the layout space. Don't forget you have got a tool under Modifier, Align Objects, so we could align those objects. I've done it just by eye, which I think probably works here, but if you wanted to be very fussy, you could line all those images up in a straight line across the base. Now let's zoom extents and I'll show you another feature of gCADPlus version 10. We can now, if we go to File and Save as PDF, one of the comments we've had was that the PDF that results from this not quite got the high resolution that you want. So I want to pick a window, but I want maximum. So we used to have low, medium and high. We've now got a maximum resolution, and we can pick a box around there. Let's put it on the desktop and we'll call it test, and we'll just see the result. Should generate a PDF file, should automatically throw up, in my case, Acrobat Reader, and we should be able to go full screen with Acrobat Reader and zoom in on, so Control minus takes us out, Control plus takes us in. Although I suspect what's happened there is I've gone into this is what Windows will do for you. I want to run Acrobat Reader, and what it's done is run a browser for me. So I'm going to close from there, close all the tabs. Certainly don't want to be using that browser. What I want to do now is go back to the desktop. We'll find that test image, which should be here somewhere. There it is. And I want to open with Acrobat Reader, and Control L takes me full screen, and I can zoom in. Control plus zooms me in, make it. I'll ignore that for the moment because I do want to make it my reader, but I hope in a long-winded way I've shown you that that's a pretty reasonable PDF file. The resolution of the images is quite good. So that, we hope, is a big improvement to version 10 and one that you will like. Well, we've also made some improvement to your ability to handle the selection set in gCADPlus. I've got a rectangle, a polyline, and a circle and line here, 4 different entities. If I use a crossing box and grab them, let's imagine they're all overlaying one another. It was difficult to select them. You could filter the list now by clicking on the drop arrow here, and let's say for the sake of argument we wanted to work on the rectangle. We can click rectangle, and now up pops the properties box specific to the rectangle, and the one that we're now operating on is highlighted a green color. So its color is yellow. It's been highlighted green because that tells us we're now going to operate on the properties of, in this case, a rectangle. And so I can say, let's do some changes. I can make it filled, and I could set the transparency maybe to about 1/3, so 100, and then hit enter, and then unselect all, and there's our change being made. So it's quite easy. If you pick like so, we've got all the entities selected. Let's imagine that we wanted to pick the circle, and again its color is red, and I wanted to make its transparency say 150, and I wanted to say it's filled, yes, and I'll give it a border, its border color, well, I'll make it cyan and see if that may well stand out. So can you see I'm operating on the circle now, which has been highlighted green. So let's hit enter to burn that in, and right click, and we're done. So there's our colored circle that we just operated on. There's our filled rectangle. The other 2 elements we haven't played with yet. But I hope you can see that's very helpful, especially when entities overlay one another. So I think that's enough of the features of gCADPlus version 10. We've added a few little other odds and ends, and I'm sure you'll see those as you start working with this new version.